What's really good, people? Welcome to Never Caught Offside with me, the host, Alex Voltaire, here with this crew of mine. So, quick introductions. First, we'll start off from my top right. We've got David, the Arsenal fan. How's it going, Dave? Good. So, are you muted? That's not the best way to start the show, man. All right, enough of David yet. We'll move on.
Sorry.
It's
No.
all right.
I'm looking forward to the podcast. Nice to meet the new people that's coming.
Thank you. And then we've got Hussein, another Arsenal fan. How you doing, brother?
All good, all good. Just looking forward for the podcast and
Good, man.
what's up, everyone?
Good. And then making his debut is actually my big brother, Ugo, the Tottenham fan. How are you, bruv?
I'm good, thanks. Good. Looking forward to the podcast. Thanks for the invite. Good to meet
Good.
everyone. Let's get cracking.
Mike back again, the only United fan on the panel. How you doing, bro?
Yeah, like I said earlier, I don't feel so bad because your big brother's on, so it's all good, man. But yeah, looking forward to it.
Good. Then we've got
Happy to
Tyson,
be here.
another Arsenal fan,
Glad I'm here.
with the imbalance.
Talk
So,
about the truth, educate the peoples. That's what I'm about.
talk about the truth, What's this? We ain't doing conspiracies on here, Oh,
That's it,
conspiracy,
man.
why not ask for the title? And we'll discuss it later. And then we have Cam, who's back from Malaga. He's with us now. He's in the country. He's got papers. How are you today, brother?
I'm great, bro. I'm great. I'm very excited to be back. I'm very excited to do the pod. Let's go.
Wonderful. But again, thank you, boys, for joining. I know life is really, really tough. We're all working full-time jobs and all of that. So thank you for taking the time out so we can talk about the things that we love. Football. That's what we're here for. And we're here to give our own views, whether they're going to be good views or bad views, they're views. Okay? Cool. 2 hours running late. He said he would join us, so if you do see him pop in, it's not by accident. He hasn't just, turn up uninvited. He's invited, unless it's gonna be like Sinners. It'll be like we're not inviting you in, but that's a Sinners reference. Don't know
Not
anyone
yet.
see Sinners? Anyone seen it yet?
Not seen it.
Oh
No.
look, Uncle T's actually calling me now. On my days. Uncle, what's up? What's up? Yeah, we started. We started. We're waiting for you. I've sent it to your email. Yeah, your code, your Hotmail one. Yeah, do that. All right, nice one. Good. As I said, we're gonna start issuing fines. Yeah, and the fines, I'm not talking about money. It'll just be like limit on how long you get to speak. So, like every time you're late, you get like a minute off. So you get to speak for like 1 minute, and that's it, and then it's off to the next one. Yeah. So we'll start dishing out some fines because boy, I don't like when people are late. But anyway, we're gonna crack on. And so the biggest, I'll say the biggest talking point out of the weekend that we've seen is Trent. Unless you've been living under the rock, Trent is obviously chosen to leave Liverpool, best team in the country, for some strange reason. Who knows why? But he decided that he would like to go and play football elsewhere. It's been mixed reviews throughout the week. I think it wasn't a surprise that he announced it because we knew that he had not said anything for weeks and it's been under scrutiny, this move, but it's happened, and he was dropped for the game, which manager Slot came out and said that Conor Bradley was going to start, and Trent was going to have to keep his place on the bench. So when he came on, he was booed, and every time he touched the ball, he was booed. And even at the end of the game, where the players will walk around the pitch, giving their celebrations and clapping with the crowd and things like that. You know, Trent was seen with Diaz had his arm around him, and Diaz was kind of like holding his hand, and Trent just kind of like pulled his arm away, and Trent was just not really in a good mood, didn't really want to be there. So what I want to ask you guys is that, you know what, was it fair for Trent to be, for it to be booed? Yeah, was it fair, or were the Liverpool fans just doing too much? What do you reckon?
I'll go. Nobody's going to take the lead on this one. I'll
Yeah,
go.
go through, man. Go through, bro. Talk.
I mean, I think I don't personally think he was treated fairly, and I think this is subjective. I think a lot of things in this sport are subjective. My take is I don't think they showed him the respect that he's earned as a player there. He's won every flipping trophy at that club. On the flip side of it, we all know how tribal our sport is. Like, you know, we all passionately follow our clubs without falter, good and bad, as we can all testify. And I think it's subjective. I go back to that word. On one hand, I get it from a tribal fan perspective of how you want to, you know, Liverpool fans very much see this way, right? It's them against the world. And so, like, this golden child that they've invested all this time and money into has not wanted to sign a contract. Let's be honest, he didn't want to. He could have, but he didn't. He wanted to leave. But again, I see his value and his worth in having that right. I remember very well Steve McManaman did exactly the same thing. Okay, he got a small transfer fee, but he turned into exactly the same villain that Trent has been made out to be. And I think you got to take it with a pinch of salt. That's my take.
Yeah, I think the main thing is the transfer fee. No transfer fee, right? He's been at Liverpool for so long. He's won trophies, but he's gone on a free. And I think that's why a lot of Liverpool fans are not happy, because they're not getting any transfer fee or any value out of him, so that they can buy a replacement for him. You know, so
But
from
David, the reason I mentioned
Mm.
that, sorry to interrupt. The reason I mentioned
Yes, right.
because there was a fee. There was a £14 million fee, and I suppose you could probably say that was somewhere in the region of 50 million nowadays. It was 99 that he left, and he's still vilified by those fans. They hate him for it. And again, like I think about a Chelsea perspective, we and I have never forgiven Mason Mount and never will. And I think it's a similar reason, and I understand it.
Yeah, I get it. But I think when it comes down to pure kind of stats and pure money in terms of Liverpool and their fans, you know, I know Alex might think differently because he's done so much for Liverpool. But if I'm an Arsenal fan and a player, you know, walks out, goes on a free, we get no transfer for him, we can't buy any replacement straight away. I'm not going to be happy, but I do understand. But I just think it's a transfer fee. That's what it boils down to. I think with McManaman, I think it was a different time. You know, I think now fans are a bit more kind of appreciative of players, and they don't kind of have the same tribal effect as back in the day with McManaman. You know, it's a bit more calmer now, I guess. But that's my take anyway.
Lads, anybody else?
Should Liverpool have done more to tie him down to maybe a longer contract, like maybe an extension, or maybe give him the terms of what he wanted? Because I'm sure it must be Liverpool's fault as to why he's going on a free and there's no transfer fee involved.
But I don't know. I mean, I think isn't it both? Didn't he have the option of wanting to sign? He knew that if he didn't, he'd leave on a free.
Look, guys, look, he's a professional football player. He had enough with that shit team. He wants to leave, you know. It makes sense. It really makes sense. He's not the first person to reject that club. You know,
Okay,
you got guys like Zubamende, yeah.
Zubimendi,
Should I
bro.
say his name again? Zubamende, yeah. He's coming home. Listen, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, bro. He's coming home. Anyways, listen. Listen. Hold on. Let me finish it. Let me finish it. No, let me elaborate. Let me elaborate. All right, cool. So basically, he wants to leave. He got booed the other day. You know what happened to all the Liverpool brand? You will never walk alone and all that nonsense stuff. Man got booed. You know he literally achieved everything he could have achieved in that club. He won your cups. Probably your best right back in history. You know what I mean? Most overrated right back in my history. To be honest, I don't rate him highly. But he's going to a better team. You can't blame the guy. He's good to go. No one wants to be there.
Cool. All right.
Alex.
No, first, I'm gonna say my piece, yeah. Because first of all, you gave us a guard of honor. Thank you for that. Thank you very much. Okay, wonderful. All right. Second thing is, you have to look at it as this. I understand where the fans are coming from, because I feel there is a right way to leave. And I don't think this was it. Reason being is that if you know you're not going to sign a contract, tell the club, listen, I'm thinking of leaving, and this is where potentially I could be going. Now we are hearing that he told the club back in March that that was it, and then when you had the Van Dijk and Salah not signing yet, he wasn't too sure. I actually believe that when we were lose like last season when we lost to United FA Cup, then we went out in the Europa League to Atalanta, and then we were dropping points in Premier League games and then falling through the cracks. This is where I felt like maybe uncertainty is setting. Then Klopp's announced that he's leaving, and that's where it starts. So everybody knows when it's like 2 years, 18 months left of contract, this is where you're going with negotiations. This would happen, especially with a price product like Trent. So for me, I can't say that the team have not spoken to him. They spoke to him, they spoke to Mo, they spoke to Virgil. That went on as a saga. And then Trent was the only one who was coming out. I'm not saying Mo was straight to it. No one's spoken to me. No one's told me anything. Virgil did the same thing. I would like to stay. No one said anything to me. Trent said nothing. But everybody will say, oh, but he said in the past he doesn't want to speak about his contracts. Okay, don't speak about his contract. But when we're in less than 6 months left of the contract and you're still not saying something, we know you're leaving. And now we're at a point where we can't sell him. Same thing happened with Mbappe. He wouldn't sign an extra year or two and put a clause in place so PSG can get money. PSG lost out on what? 150, 160 mil? So it gets to a point where it's like, can we derail our plans of winning the league title or winning the competition by letting one of our best players go? Tio, so I'm gonna put you on mute, brother, because you're late and you're just making up bare noise, So I'm
Yeah,
just gonna
Alex, can
mute
I
you.
respond to that?
Yeah, thank you for that. All right.
Yeah,
Thank you for
I
coming,
think
by
it's
the
a
way.
good point
Go
which
to
you
you, bro. Go
made,
to you.
but at the end of the day, football is like any other job. Any other job. So Liverpool's been kind, giving him the opportunity, but Trent's been an amazing player, top right back of his generation, and he's decided to leave. All right, so if you are born and bred in Liverpool, you can never leave a Liverpool Football Club because I feel like no, but the thing is,
No, it's not,
it's
brother.
quite
It's not like
toxic.
that, man.
It's actually crazy because you say that, oh, he didn't say anything. His situation is not the same as Salah and Van Dijk. They're like 32, 33. He's 25. So he's like, I might want to go Madrid. I might want to see some fun. I might want to dance a bit of salsa, right? So he can have that
Yeah.
that thought of let me go somewhere else, and it's the club's fault that he didn't get no money. Like he didn't come out, bro. It's the club's fault because, like you said, when there's 2 years and a half left, the club talk.
No,
Even
but
before that, they're talking. What are your intentions? So the moment when they know his intention is to go to Madrid, it's like, cool. Do we get money for him or do we not? That every single club does that. Like his Trent situation is so common. I just feel Liverpool
but
just
what?
taking
But
it
hold on. I,
very emotional.
I hear,
Whatever.
I hear that. I hear that. But at the same time, what did Ronaldo do? Didn't Ronaldo sign another 1 year extension with a
Yeah,
clause
but that was
saying that
done
he can go to
before.
Madrid?
Well, I don't know.
So
You're
why
gonna have
couldn't
to
why
ask him.
couldn't
We don't
Trent
know the
why
ins
couldn't
and
Trent
outs.
done that?
But if he loves the club and he's born and bred in the club and all of that, he would want to do the best thing for the club. So I think this is more Liverpool who's messed up and not Trent, because
No,
he
he
would be
did.
thinking, well, let me go for a transfer fee. I feel so. If he's born and bred in Liverpool, he's not going to say, oh, let me go on a free because I'm going to get a signing on bonus and because I don't like this football club who's giving me everything. From what I know, he's someone who's grateful. So I feel like it's Liverpool.
Yeah, no, I hear that, but I feel like with him, it's almost like gonna be like this now. Yeah, he goes to Madrid. Madrid are gonna give him a massive signing on fee because they're not paying a transfer fee. He can now go and set up his brother for life and his family. I would do the same thing, 100%. If I can go, if it's like either I'm gonna stay with these lot now, yeah, fair enough. You're gonna pay me what 300,000 a week. There'll be other bonuses in place. My brother's an agent. He's gonna get what 10%, 50% of what I earn. Cool. Or I can go to Madrid. I've won everything at Liverpool. I go to Madrid, new league, new fans, new culture, new chicks, whatever. Jude's there, and I can go and put 10 mil in my brother's pocket. I'm going to Madrid.
Hold on, but can't you do that? He's not like he's not wealthy. He's earning peas every week. Can you not do that already? Put a
Yeah,
little
but
check.
you're not earning peas like me. I'm the one who's getting 400,000 a week. You're getting 15% of the things that I earn. What if I have the opportunity now to go and put 10 mil in your pocket? Would you be pissed at me if I had opportunity, or would you be like loyalty, loyalty, stay with Liverpool, stay with Liverpool? Because I know his brother's not saying that. There's no way. I've got a chance to go and put 10 mil in my brother's pocket, and I've achieved everything I want to achieve at the club. So I'm not angry with him. He goes with my blessings. I just know how the fans, I'm just trying to take it from how some fans may see it. They can see it as a betrayal because he didn't sign or because we're getting no money for him. He's just walking away when things are getting good, things are getting juicy. We've been mediocre for so long, and now we are in a time now where Liverpool are prosperous. We are winning competitions. We're challenging again,
Lads, I
and
think
he could be part of that era, and he's now leaving. But again, he's been in the club 20 years. He's won everything now. He's got opportunity that may only come. Are you fighting mosquitoes or something? What are you doing, bruv? Well, do you have to sponsor you at £3 or something? What's the
Malaga with me there.
Jesus bloody hell, man? No. Anyway, but yeah,
Listen, I was just
that's
going to. Yeah, I think we're all forgetting, right? For a partnership to work, it takes two people. It's not. It's not. Trent was wrong and Liverpool wrong. It's both. Both didn't come together to make it work. Both are responsible.
well. I wanna go around and just get a quick view of you guys here. Do you think Trent will be welcome back at Liverpool? And I'm gonna start with Tuyo because you were late. Bro, so I'm gonna unmute you, yeah, because I heard some rustling. Man was handling papers like he was reading 10 o'clock news at Trevor McDonald. You see him shuffling papers. I was like, rah,
No, no,
man's got notes and man's
he
gonna
printed
fix
the
his
agenda, innit?
glasses, just like
He printed
on
the
the news
agenda.
today.
That's
Remember the guy? Are you gay? Remember one? Sorry for anybody. It was a context to a joke. Yeah, Tuyo, welcome, Mama. Thank you for the first time
No
joining
worries.
us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So walk Trent, welcome back at Anfield.
Yeah, what do
Honestly,
you think?
um, you know what? I know Scousers. Scousers are very how can I say it? They're very,
Be nice, be
passionate
nice.
people. Passionate people. Do you know what I'm saying? I think they will kind of they will hold a grudge against him. Basically, he will not be welcome back at. It's not like Robbie Fowler. Do you know what I'm saying? When Robbie Fowler left and came back, Robbie Fowler went to a lesser club. Do you know what I mean? But for him to go to Madrid and come back to Anfield, do you know what I'm saying? No, they're gonna feel they're gonna feel a little bit like almost like if if your girlfriend leaves you ends up with with Brad Pitt. Do you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have that kind of that bitterness and that grudge, and the difference between Fowler when Fowler left, Fowler left was it for Leeds? What team did he go for? Was it Leeds? What team, Alex? When Fowler left?
Yeah, he went. He had a leads at Bolton.
No, no.
Um,
The first time when he left Liverpool and when he came, the
right.
first time he left was it Liverpool? Was it
Man
Leeds?
City, Man City. You want Man City?
No, no, it was Leeds. It was Leeds. The first time was Leeds, wasn't it?
Leeds and Man City. One of them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, but it was Leeds because Leeds were in the Champions League at the time. But they took him back when he came back. They took him back. But with I don't know. It's weird because Liverpool took Fowler back, but will they take Trent back? What's the difference between Fowler and Trent?
I think it's a different time. I will feel it's a different time. I feel like Fowler was always gonna be. I'll play for Liverpool until they don't want me no more. That's I think how he saw it. Trent is like, bro, I can be a global celebrity superstar and take my brand over to Spain. I want to be global, and he feels like playing for Madrid will give him that global that global presence he needs. Say at Liverpool, maybe he feels like I'm massive in Liverpool, but I want to be massive on the world stage. We all know about Trent, but
Mm.
I think now he wants to show his
But
influence. So yeah.
do you feel like Liverpool will feel like a ditched girlfriend? You know what I'm saying?
Nah, bro. Sorry, nah. We're not gonna
A
start poking holes at Liverpool. Anyway,
a dumb girlfriend,
uh,
a dumb girlfriend for for the richer, better looking boyfriend.
all right, they're not that good looking. Hey, they're not that good looking. Anyway, all right. So, moving on to the match. Okay, so I want to hear from the Arsenal fans. How did you feel about how the match went? Because again, you lot have just come off the back of losing in the Champions League, so obviously you're feeling deflated, and then having to go to Anfield in order to potentially pick yourselves up, and at the same time, you've got other teams on your heels to gain second place. Now, I'm hearing a lot of chatter from a lot of Arsenal fans saying there's not really much difference between second place and fifth place. It's still gonna get you Champions League football. But is that true? Because if you come fourth or fifth, no trophy, but then you've got a team like Man United or Tottenham who potentially can win a trophy and qualify for Champions League. Would they have a better season? But we'll hold on to that yet because we've got two fans from both sides we'll talk about. What I want to know from you guys is next season, if Arteta does not come with a trophy, and I'm talking about I'm talking about serious trophy, either the league or the Champions League. If he ends up winning another FA Cup or he wins the League Cup and nothing else, and maybe gets another second place,
I want to go
should he be
first.
sacked?
I want to
I
go
don't know who wants to
first.
speak about him
So,
first, but maybe let's start off
firstly,
with Tyson.
with the whole
Go on, Tyson.
Yeah,
trophy thing, people need to understand that when we won the FA Cup, we've been winning the FA Cup like that was our trophy for years. So many times when we played the FA Cup, we never took that competition serious. Every Arsenal fan knows under Arteta, FA Cup, League Cup, we didn't take that seriously. So now for me, I would say that he's done really well. From where we were to now, he's done well and he's progressed every year. The only problem is he the guy to take you to the next level? If next year we buy more players, we're investing, and we're not winning the league, then if the club's ambition is to be like up there, we should be sacking him. But if the club and the board are saying, "Oh, you know what? We just want to be competitive all the time, competitive. Yeah, going to Champions League final, whatever." Then the club's happy. But for me as a fan, yeah, if you don't win, then a big trophy, then for me we have to look at someone else. So that's what I'll say. But all the other cups, League Cup, FA Cups, that don't apply to Arsenal because we've been winning them, and it doesn't get us anywhere. So that's the way I'll say. That's what I'll say.
So it's fair to say if he wins a FA Cup or League
Yeah,
Cup
100%.
and
Because
gets
because
Champions
because then
League
there's a
spot,
League Cup,
he should
FA Cup.
go.
No one cares about that. No Arsenal fan cares about that. We've been winning that for a long time. Nobody cares about that.
Which one of your other Arsenal fans support this view, or have you got something else? David, you're
Yeah,
on mute. There you go.
no, yeah, thank you. No, it's a good point, Tyson, and I do agree with some of these points, but I think for any club, there's two sides to the coin. There's okay, can you win trophies, or can you be progressive? And as Tyson said before, Arteta, we've been competitive for a number of years, season finishing second, getting in Champions League football, raising the revenue, and all that nice stuff. So I think really for me as an Arsenal fan, I'm happy. I don't want another manager to come in the club. Right, I'm happy because we've been progressive. I'm happy with being competitive. It doesn't mean that I don't want to win a trophy. It means that I don't want another manager to come in and mess it up. Right, he's being progressive. Right, he's finishing second consistently. Unai Emery before Arsenal, what did he do? Right, so Arsenal have been consistent enough for me. I'm happy with it. Right, if we don't win a trophy next season, what did we do? Did we get to a final? Right, in the Champions League, did we compete again? Finishing second is massively different from finishing fifth because it shows that you are competing for the Premier League. As simple as that, right? Finishing fifth, you weren't competing. I don't know what you was doing, right? So I'm happy with Arsenal at the moment and Arteta. Give it maybe 4 or 5 seasons. if you're still finishing second, it's hard for a football owner. Think about a football owner, right? How can they sack a manager that is consistently second and getting in the Champions League? No. I'm saying, okay, think about it from a business point of view. We've, listen. No, listen, no, no, no. Listen, what I'm saying. Listen, what I'm saying. If you are a salesperson in the business, right? I think some of us work in sales here. That's fine. If you're always getting 90%, 90% to target, right, and you never get 100% to target, do you think the company is going to sack you?
Well, sport is about winning.
No, I know sport is about winning, but if you're a salesperson, then you have to hit target in your job consistently all the time, and you're always getting 90%, right? You're always getting close. Is it likely that the owners of the company are going to sack you? Are going to sack all the people getting 90%?
They probably
I
won't
think
sack you.
you made the point earlier.
Sport is about winning. Eventually, you have to win.
Exactly.
And you said that Unai Emery before Arteta, he got to a final.
No. Listen, I agree. I agree. Sport is about winning, and I know that we have to win. Arteta has to win. I know that, right? But I'm not just a fan. I'm a supporter of Arsenal as a business, right? And for me, it's been progressive, right? If you're a hardcore fan of a club, right, you look into other things. You don't just look into, okay, is it a trophy? Get them out, right? There's a lot of things going on in football. Football isn't just about winning trophies. It's a business, right?
But
It's
you know,
big.
Wenger was arguing the same point for many years, getting top
Wenger,
four,
yes, guys.
and he got ousted out eventually, didn't he?
Yeah, because it was a long time. It was a long period. I totally agree. If it's like 5 to 10 years from now, and he's still not winning trophies, then fine. But right now, okay, name me one manager that will come in right now and make a difference and win a trophy in the first season.
Ten
You think
Hag.
it's likely to happen?
100% Man
Sacking
United.
mentality creates toxic football clubs,
Well, if you
right?
get Ten Hag
Look
in,
at
you
Man,
could do it.
look at Man United. Yeah, look at Chelsea. Look at Tottenham. Sacking mentality creates toxic. Hardly sack their managers. They give them time. I know Klopp won Premier League after 4 years, but even if Klopp didn't win the Premier League after 4 years, they would have kept Klopp because he was progressive. He was moving forward.
Okay, you mentioned something there. You said the word toxic. Do you feel like the Arsenal fan base is toxic?
I feel like we are passionate. Yeah, the worst word you can use is delusional. Fine, no problem.
But
But
that's
but
taint. You lot are tainted with delusion currently.
but
Is it
but
fair?
delusion is being
Standards.
imaginative. Imagining about winning things, having
Because
standards. Yeah.
let's be fair, man. And I want an honest opinion from people from guys here in the panel. Over the last 2 to 3 years, have you felt an increase in noise from Arsenal fans?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that there has been an increase in noise, but the noise has only increased due to what we're talking about in terms of levels. Arsenal fans expect their team to be winning. They want to be winning not only just like FA Cups, like domestic cups. They want to be winning like league titles as they used to,
Yeah.
Champions Leagues, especially the Champions League. I think that seems to be the golden egg, something that's
Oh,
eluded
yeah.
them, and that must hurt even like this season, losing out to PSG over 2 seasons. So I think it's about levels. You can win FA Cups like every year, but when you're winning something like that for so long, you get bored of it. What's the next level? So I think league titles and the Champions League is, I think, what Arsenal fans want. It's what's expected. And when they're not doing that, then obviously that's when you're gonna start to hear the noise. Obviously, I don't care. I
You're a Tottenham
being a rival fan, but then I can understand in terms of the club's history and how successful they've been in the past, and those two things have eluded them: the Premier League and the Champions League. So those two are those are the primary ones, and as it's not happening, you're gonna get uproar. So
Yeah,
that's
What,
I
what
think
about you? Sorry, I want to hear from Hussein because I want to hear what his thoughts on whether what because are you're not a fan? Is it fair to say?
That's not a good way to start the conversation, bro. Listen, that that's my team. That's the manager. You know what I mean? You got to put some respect on the guy.
I
We've
have
been
disrespected
playing
him.
we've been playing good football for the last 3 4 years, and that's thanks to Arteta. We've been playing consistent football, effective football, competitive football, and a lot of times we've been dominating the possessions. Like tiki taka. So by the end of the day, football is business, like David said. And just this year, by just reaching the Champions League semi-final, we generated almost 100 million. You know what I mean? That's a lot of money, if you ask me. But then again, I am a fan of Arsenal, but I want cups. History don't remember runners up; they remember winners. So I think it's safe to say I am losing patience with this guy. But we are playing good football. We just need the right signings. Like we definitely need a striker. But I think next year is going to be a totally different Arsenal. We are going to win cups next year for sure.
Okay, cool.
One
Well,
more thing, Alex. Sorry, one
go
more
on.
thing, Alex. I just wanted to say that we haven't lost to Liverpool in 6 games. Yeah, and Liverpool are the champions. Yeah, so 6 games we haven't lost. Even with a red card, you guys still couldn't beat us. Yeah, and we still managed to get a draw. Right? That tells you something.
Congratulations.
I'm just saying that tells you.
Congratulations.
No, I'm just
What did
saying
you
that.
win?
No, no,
1 point. You
no.
won a
I'm not.
point.
I'm.
You
I'm
won a
not saying.
point.
I'm not saying we won anything, but I'm just saying for Arteta, he's consistently been doing that, right?
Well, let
So,
him consistently win trophies.
so
Because
there's
we
there's
are.
some. No, I know, and there's something good about what he's doing, right? If Liverpool, the champions, can't beat us, listen, the weekend was a perfect opportunity for you guys to smash us,
Well,
like you said.
all I'm saying
Yeah,
is just be lucky, yeah, that Ubue
yeah.
was just handling Lewis Skelly because that goal would have stood. But man was like, he got handled. Like Ubue was just too much. Like he didn't need to do it. He didn't need to. I don't know why he likes to That's the problem with Ubue. He likes to manhandle people. I don't know why. And he just manhandled Lewis Skelly, and then you go disallowed. So yeah, you were lucky to get a draw. But it's all good. It's all good. It's all love. It's all love. Right. I want to move on and speak about the other side of North London. Yeah, I don't know what divides the two ends. I don't know if it's the A406 or something. I don't know what it is. But I want to move on to Tottenham. Now, we are going to talk about the weekend games. But first and foremost, you lost to Palace 2-0. But is your mind like not there no more when it comes? Were you like Arsenal when it came to PSG? It's like you didn't care about the league. League's overdone. You're now focusing on Europe. Where's the fans thinking? I know you're just one fan, but what's happening right now? Are you lot just dashed in the league now and concentrating on Europe?
I think the club's opinion and the fans' opinion are two different things. I think we're divided because as a fan, you want your team to play well in cup competitions and in league at the same time. Every team should be doing that, and I think now, as we're in the Europa League final, the focus within the club, from what I can see, and the mindset of the players and the manager is just to focus on that to get over the line and win a trophy, if possible. Like, I guess they would love to get points on the road in the league as well and try and get up to the table. But yeah, I think I don't think they care anymore. They just want to focus on the Europa League. With me, I want both. Focus on the Europa League um and the Premier League as well. Get as much. Well, there's only 2 games left, so the best that we can probably climb up the tables to probably 13th, 14th. But we've lost 20 games already. Like that is atrocious.
Yeah,
So
that's
you
bad.
know,
20
but
and
yeah, but that's where the club is at right now. I think they've subconsciously in the back of their mind they've like forget about the league. Let's concentrate on Europa. Make sure our players are rotate the team. Make sure players are available for the final.
because last season you you came, what were you, fifth?
Yeah,
Yeah, came fifth. There was a style of play, there was identity with the team, and then
well, there was a
this
style of play for the first 10 games. After that,
okay.
it bombed.
So what do you feel is going to be what is going to be that long term future? Because you've in Europa League final, you potentially could win that and go to Champions League, but at the same time you're 17th in the league.
Yeah.
So what do you feel, or as a Tottenham fan, what do you want to happen then, moving forward?
Well, I've been Ange out since the Chelsea game. So
Wow.
plus Ange he wasn't even my first choice in manager in the first place. But he was new and he had some new ideas and he was progressive. Hopefully, we were hoping that he could bring in some new ideas and different tactics and whatnot from his time at Celtic, and it hasn't worked out. For me, I've been Ange out since the Chelsea game, and we definitely need a new manager. We need someone else that can come in and
Can I,
bring in a new philosophy, new tactics, because the
can
tactics
I
have
ask a
been
question, Hugo?
crap. Yeah.
If you win the Europa League, would you still feel the same way?
Yep.
Okay.
Winning the Europa League just papers over the cracks. Yes, we've done well. It hasn't been a great Europa League with the teams that we've played. So the standard. Go on.
Hugo, just a quick one. How does it feel to be so close to relegation?
Come on, man.
A low blow.
Oh.
We didn't
That's
come for
offside.
this, Hussein,
No,
That's
man.
offside.
You're
Come
so
on.
violent today, Hussein.
That's offside.
No, it's fine. It's a fair question. It's painful. It hurts because that's not where we're expecting to be at the beginning of the season. I don't think no team is. Tottenham shouldn't really be at that bottom half of the table,
I
but
agree.
that's where we are. That's where we are.
With you saying that, Bill, just looking at your team on paper, everybody fit. Where would you see Tottenham in the league then? Everybody fit. Quality against quality. Compared it to the other first 11s from other teams in the league. Where would Tottenham fit?
I think with a different set of tactics and with a manager who properly coaches, top 10 at least. At the very least, top 10. I don't know where in the top 10. At the beginning of the season, okay, my opinion was I think we'll be top 7. We'll finish top 7. But anywhere in the top 10, I think would be acceptable, you know? But Tottenham should be challenging a lot higher in the European places. So, but yeah, where we are right now, nobody saw that. But because of the manager and how stubborn he is, and his tactics don't work, and also the quality of players that we have, we spent money on kids and Dominic Solanke. Like, tell me how are those combination of players gonna get you to bridge the gap between teams that are above you? You know, so you're not gonna win league titles with players like that. You know, I hate to say it, but you've got Arsenal over there who are signing players like Calafiori and um, Marino and other players like that. You know, but no, well,
Don't laugh,
hold on,
Alex.
hold on, let me finish.
Alex, don't laugh. Don't laugh, bro.
Marino Galafori.
Don't laugh. Don't laugh,
Let me
man.
finish though. But those,
Don't laugh.
but those are seasoned senior players. That's what we needed. We needed
Okay.
we needed a solid foundation of senior players to join our team. Instead, what
Don't laugh.
you
I
know,
don't think Arsenal was a good example.
well,
Hugo.
That's what I'm saying.
yeah,
Well,
but
Marino scored more than Nunes
Calafiori's a
this
top
season, so
player.
just
But
letting
he
you know
don't
that.
play. Man scored. Listen, Marino scored.
All right.
Listen, Marino scored like 28 headers and one tapping. Yeah, relax. All right. Do you know what? Mike was gonna say something. God, sorry.
Yeah, I
So
was gonna,
what's this?
I was gonna ask Hugo a question about Spurs. So, do you think the problem? Do you think because you guys similar situation to United? I'd say our situation is probably worse. But do you think Daniel Levy is part of the problem? Because when was it last? I think it was even this season that your supporters had banners saying he needs to leave, he needs to get out. I mean, do you think he's part of the problem, or do you think it's just the fact that Ange is just not a manager that can take Spurs even top 6 or top 5 or Champions League?
I think, no, Daniel Levy, his team under him, so like Mun, Lange, like, the directors and also the manager as well. Obviously, Levy and the team can provide the funds, but then the manager would get the last say on players. Who is he? Look, he must have a list of the players that that he wants to sign, whether it's players from his previous club. Managers tend to do that. They tend to bring in tried and tested players that they worked with in the past. Maybe he could have brought in some players from Celtic. Maybe he could have brought in players from where his scouting is from Asia or anywhere else. He can have his pick. He can even go to a village in Africa and buy some players there.
Yeah,
But
but
he didn't.
would
So
you be
they're
happy with
they're
that?
all to blame.
But would you be happy if you brought in, players from coming in from the Scottish First Division to come challenge for the title or to come and make you guys
Could
better?
have
Do you think?
minded, like even like a Kyogo. He could have signed a player like him. He's scoring goals for them. He seems to be someone that can make an impact. Just
Hasn't
somebody.
this always been the issue with Levy? I mean, this isn't news, right? Levy's always done this to every manager he's had under him. He's given him transfers they didn't want and didn't
Yeah,
give him players they did want.
There was a time that we wanted Bruno Fernandes and we got Gelson Fernandes instead. So you know, it just tells you everyone else is buying things in Waitrose and we're back in Lidl. So
Oh, wow.
that's
I think that's a good point. But I
That's
think
offside. It's offside.
no, I think that's a
but
good
it's
point.
true though. The money is
No,
there. You can see in the stats that we have spent money. We spent more money than most. But yet it depends on where the money is going and what you're spending the money on. So even Poch said it before he left. Like you can have a great mansion, but if you have shit furniture, then
I got a
you're gonna
question,
you're gonna have
Alex.
problems. So
All right.
this is
Okay.
where we're
So,
at.
So
Yeah, I
one
just had a
one question
question.
though. Oh no,
Do
go
you,
ahead, go ahead.
Hugo, do you think
no, go ahead, because
clubs like Tottenham, Man United, that are not performing that well, Chelsea, do you think it's not just about managers and signings? Do you, I don't know why he's laughing, but do you think it's because my bad. Do you think it's because of structure? And by that I mean, Alex, you might, let me know if you think I'm correct, but the Premier League's kind of changed. There was a bit more consistency in the top teams. And then obviously you've had a few teams coming in, but you start seeing big teams buying young players for 40, 50 million, a lot of money. Teams are not giving managers a time. So all of that things is a combination why teams can't get that stability, right? Because you're looking at Tottenham, they used to be consistent. And then obviously you haven't replaced players properly. So look at Man United, like a lot of these big teams, even around Europe, Bayern, Barcelona, they're not really at that top level anymore. So I just feel like it's a combination of how the football world's changed, and we invest in young players or in players. We don't give them time. We want to sack managers. We greedy. So do you think that's also one of the reasons, or do you think Tottenham's just incompetent, basically?
But I think it's a combination of those. I think when you're building a team, I think you need to have a balance. You need to have a balance with youth and senior players. And I don't think teams have done that very well. Some teams can and some teams can't. I think for us, in terms of Spurs, I don't think they've done it well. They've spent 40 million on the likes of Archie Gray, 10 million on Bergvall, and they've just thrown them into the deep end and expecting them to do wonders. For me, I would have started to have signed more senior pros. Highlight the positions that you're weak in, and sign players that you know or that you've seen that can come in and make an impact. I don't know what the scouts are doing because I don't think they're making the right choices. You have like under 21 Olympics, or like you have like under 21. You have Olympics. You have like under 21 World Cups or European Championships. You got scouts from other clubs going to those games and looking at players. Are Tottenham scouts there? I don't know. Where are they? So I think there's members of the hierarchy that need to take account for what's happening. I don't know whether they're
But the
all
thing is,
looking at the same
you
page.
you've bought some decent players. I mean, you bought Porro, you bought what's the Argentinian guy, the defender, what's his name?
Romero.
You also bought the other guy as well, the fast one.
Van de
Ricky Van
Ven,
der
yeah,
Ven.
yeah.
Van de
Yeah.
Ven.
Okay, you bought the Brazil. What's the Brazilian guy's name again?
Missing Royale.
No, no, the striker, the centre
Oh,
forward.
Richarlison.
Because I mean, he's the only flop out of those. Out of those, he's the only one that's flopped. But the rest, I mean, the rest have been decent. Yeah.
Apart from
Well,
Timo Werner.
And that was all the first year of Ange's reign, and then the second year, that's when he's focused more on the youngsters, on the youth. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's like buy experienced players, then go for the younger players. Yeah.
I think for me, in regards to Richarlison, we haven't seen the Richarlison that we saw at Everton. When he was at Everton, he was a nuisance. He was just causing havoc. He was on a bit of a run. He was scoring goals. We wanted, I guess they signed him because they wanted that type of player, someone that can bite the ankles of opposition defenders and cause some trouble, get us some goals. Since he's come to the club, it hasn't happened as we would have liked. Then he's had injuries. And when he's had injuries, he hasn't come back as the same player. The likes of Romero started off well, and then he's just capitulated. He makes too many mistakes. He's clumsy. His awareness is trash. Like too much ball watching that's happening in games. And he's not the only person as well. Porro can be in no man's land himself. He's nowhere to be seen. You got a doggy at left back who, when he came to the club, he
Well,
started
that is a
very
good
well.
signing.
Well, like I said, he started very well, and then he's like dropped in terms of his performances as well. Just like when Davison Sanchez, we signed him from Ajax for about 42 million, and he was solid at Ajax. Came to Spurs, started off well, and then he fell off a cliff. So I don't know whether there's something in the water in N17. I don't know, but players just haven't performed.
Just keep it the same, man. We
I,
love
I,
you.
You know,
I think you've been a bit harsh. You've been very unfortunate with injuries. Do you know what I mean? Because all of those players are decent players. Yeah, if they were fit, but Ange hasn't had those players for long periods.
other Brighton have had injuries. Bournemouth have had injuries. You can name loads of clubs that have had injuries, but they still put on a show. If you have a big squad, you should still have plenty of other players that can come in and do a job. But if we have players that are injured and we bring in other people, they'll come in and they won't do any better. So I think it's the quality. We haven't really signed quality players to really make an impact, and it shows. It showed throughout. We're losing every week. So
Well, another team who's in a similar kind of stance as Tottenham is Manchester United, and yeah, Mike, talk to me. What's happening? You guys are almost twins in a sense, kind of similar league form.
I was hoping Ugo would you'd ask Ugo more questions and the time would run out, but
You, you can't run
um,
away from it. So where
yeah,
how you feeling?
unfortunately
Because
not.
you're right in the trenches with them right now, and also you've got a Europa League final game against them. But let's talk about your kind of like your league form and where you guys are in your I don't know what redevelopment. What are you rebuilding? Are you stage five like Arsenal? But what's going on?
Yeah, we're definitely not. We definitely wouldn't give Amorim 5 years to win the league. Um, so I think one of the questions that you might ask is, should you sack Amorim? I don't think he should be sacked. It's his first season. He wanted to come to United, and they brought him in. They gave him the option to leave now or not get the job, because he wanted to leave Sporting at the end of the season and take his time with pre-season and work with the players. And he wasn't given much time to work with the players.
Okay.
Obviously, we've had the injuries, and he's had to inherit a poor squad from Ten Hag. I mean, the players like Hoyland and Xerxes and Mason Mount and Anana and Lindelof and all these guys. So I feel like he needs time. He needs a few transfer windows to buy the players that he wants, and then you can really see if he's making an impact. I also feel like the players are quite selfish. I don't think they play for the team, but I don't. But saying that as well, I think you could argue that why are they playing so well in Europe and then they're playing poor in the league? So maybe
Because the Premier League is a tougher competition.
is it the competition? Is it the difficulty that they face? You're probably right, but I think he needs more time, man. I think he's a good manager, but I also think it's not just the managers and the players. I think it's the structure. I think it's the Glazers, and I think I've always said it all along. I think the Glazers need to sell the club to like a Qatari investment, and then they need to rebuild and start from the top and filter down.
But
And the recruitment is
But
terrible.
but with you saying that at the same time though,
Yeah.
When Amorim took over United, you guys were 4 points outside the top four, and now looking at it, would have Ten Hag done a better job because you've slid down the table dramatically. So there's nothing because in let's be real, when you bring a new manager, you want stability and then to see some progress. You want to see you getting up there. I'm not winning once a month. It's kind of a weird thing. I know what you're saying. Amrin, he's coming new. He didn't wasn't able to have a preseason with the players, but you're now 16th compared to where you were when he took over. So there's really been an improvement. So I'm asking, well, what's your plan? Why are you here? Do we have to now go and buy a whole new team to replace this team because they're the team that is useless. Like I don't. There's only some blame can be given. You could say the Glazers, like you say every year, but at the same time, you went and spent 60 million on Mason Mount. You went and spent how much money on Casemiro? You went and spent money on
Mm.
Euro. You went and spent the money on Onana. Like I don't know how much blame you can give to the Glazers, and now Radcliffe's come in and he's sucking dinner ladies.
Yeah, so I think it falls under recruitment, and even Ryan Giggs said this when Rio Ferdinand interviewed him. Rio Ferdinand said, "What do you think the biggest issue at United is?" And he said recruitment, and I agree with him. I think signing players like Hoyland, what did we pay 75 million? 75 million, and then he's got hardly something crazy. He's hardly done anything, so it's just poor recruitment. I think if I'm not mistaken, Ten Hag and Amarim play different styles or different tactical changes to the team. I think Patrick Dorgan on the left is a great signing, but I think obviously with Dalot injured, there's no quality right wing back. We're missing a quality striker like Arsenal are. So yeah, and with the injuries, it's not helped. And I think the players, I think it's obviously created some sort of culture where the players just give up. They just don't want to win. But then when it comes to Europe, it seems like it's easier for them to win, so they just give it their all because they know it's easy. The challenge is easier to overcome. That's kind of when I watch United, it's very different. Going into a game. I mean, playing West Ham. No offense to West Ham, as a United fan, 15, 20 years ago, you'd think, oh, this is an easy game for us. But now
Easy games.
you just go into it and you just think, oh, we could get beaten here. So yeah, I feel the exact same pain as Ugo as a
Chelsea.
Spurs fan. You just don't know what to expect.
Mike, talking about strikers, you guys are linked with Gyökeres heavily. I know that Amaram really wants that striker. He's a big fan of that striker. So what do you think? Do you think you guys will land Mr. Gyökeres, Mr. 50 goal per season goal? Or do you think that's a little bit out of your reach right now? Just like Liverpool and the rest of the team.
I think he goes Real Madrid. I think he'll go Real Madrid if Real Madrid want him.
Who's going Real Madrid?
I think Gyökeres. Well, obviously Xabi Alonso wants Gyökeres, doesn't he?
That was it. Okay, I didn't see that
Apparently.
one.
But then Amarim got that relationship with Gyökeres. But I think Gyökeres only comes to United if we win Europa and we get Champions League. That's the only
No,
time we.
no,
And if we
no.
sell Højlund as
I just wanted to
to
say
give him.
something. Just
So,
so
I heard Arsenal was interested in him as well, apparently.
because how are we going to get the
he's
funds?
not
That's the
coming,
thing. How are we going to
Mike.
create funds
He's
to
not
buy
coming,
Gyökeres in
Mike.
the first place?
He's
We're
not
only getting
coming.
20 million for Europa
Whether
League.
you win anything,
I'm
He's
saying
in
if he
Arsenal.
does,
But
if he
I'm
but
does,
being honest.
no, he's not going to
he,
Arsenal. He knows he's not going to win anything at
he
Arsenal.
has a
So
release clause. He's actually quite I mean he's quite cheap actually. He's got a release clause, so it's very affordable.
Yeah, but
No, it's
Gokres
got nothing to
doesn't
do
pay
with
central
that.
midfield, so
But
he's not going to Arsenal.
listen, I just wanna say some truth. Sorry, I just wanna say some truth because Alex made a good point about the finances. Since Man United's fallen, the owners, the recruitment. I think Rio Ferdinand and all of these guys are just lazy punditry and they know what to say for Man United fans to get winning more money. Like they know what to say. Højlund at Atalanta was a very good player. He was a top prospect at Atlanta. Højlund. Xerxes was a Xerxes
well, he
was
got
a top. He's a top player. They're not rubbish players. No, they are not. I'm sorry, they're not rubbish players. No, they are very good. They
what
are very
They're,
good.
what
they're, they're,
Xerxes
they're
and
not.
Højlund
They're
They
are.
not.
they
Hey,
They're
had
not.
big
No,
hype,
he's
and
right.
that's why you
Tyson's
went and
right.
signed them. Who else do you have? You have Kobe Mino, a very good young player coming through. You have some quality players. So I think it's
Alexis
the
Sanchez.
structure, like you said, Mike. There's no structure. As people always forget, like
Anthony's a good
you bring
example.
a team's not doing well. You bring a player, the player's not the savior that saves the club. It doesn't work like that. Like Chelsea, Cam, your Chelsea team is people are talking about why players coming in and it's not working out. Well, Chelsea bought 11, 23 players. There's no structure. There's no identity, and that takes a bit of time. So these players are coming in right now where the structure is so poor.
Yeah,
You can't
but
expect them to do this 1 year, 2 years.
Tyson,
They
it's
can't leave now. That don't make sense for me. I'm just saying.
look at okay. How long has it been since
Yeah,
Ferguson left?
yeah.
2012, 2013.
But you know why?
How many managers have
But
we
you know
had?
why?
And nothing's changed. We won Europa League, FA
It's
Cup. Yeah, because of the,
because the
because of
ownership.
the
But I'll tell
ownership
you something,
and
right? So
the
when the
directorship and the
Milan club, Inter Milan and Juve, when they fell like United, at one moment they kind of humbled themselves and they said, you know what, this is going to take some time. Arsenal, Wenger left. They tried to get Emery to stay competitive. Then they realized it's not going to work out. We have to do project. We have to stand somewhere. So when you guys had Van Gaal, for example, that would have been the best manager to keep him for 3, 4, 5 years. But Man United are too big of a club. They can't do no project. They have to win every single year. So we're only talking about project in 2025 when United should be talking about project in 2016. Like how we couldn't get started. And that's for me, that's the point.
Yeah, I get what
Tyson,
you're.
no, Tyson's
I,
got a point there. You can't
I,
associate Man United with projects. That United think they're the biggest club in the world, so you can't be. This is not a project. We're not. Brighton's a project. Bournemouth's a project. You know, you can't. Even now, embarrassing when you're hearing Chelsea being a project. It's because it's almost now when it's like the word project is almost like you're using it now as a default. Oh, we're doing terrible right now, but we're under construction. We are now a project. United are too big to be a project, but at the same time, um, I want to throw something quickly at you, Mike, regarding the team. Now, would you take a competitive fifth, sixth place United quality in terms of winning and being up there? You know, you're winning 5, 6 games in a row, and you're fifth, you're like fifth, fourth in that kind of reign right now, or would you take United as 16th Europa League final, possible winner going Champions League final?
so fifth or sixth, yeah.
No cups, no nothing. You're fifth, chasing that last Champions League spot because the team are in that mix, or would you
Or
take
Europe.
where you are right now? You're 16th. There's only one team now that's stopping you from getting that Champions League spot. What would you take?
Well, I'd take fifth place because shows progression. It shows that we're improving. You know, we're at the moment we're nowhere near where we want to be in the league. And I think just I've always said it. Winning Europa League is like a key entry into Champions League. Yeah, it's a trophy. Don't get me wrong, but I would kill to be in Arsenal's position. No trophies, second semi-final in the Champions League, than be where United are.
See, now,
Um,
now
you
when you
know
No,
say
that,
that,
that
no, no,
that's my personal opinion, and you know,
cool.
agree
So then I
disagree.
can ask, so I can ask you now then, because you said this, and this question's been going on for how long? This is the beef between United and Arsenal. Who is going to have the better season now? Arsenal, no trophy, second currently, or Man United, 16th,
Arsenal
Europe,
fans,
and a
don't answer that.
potential
Arsenal
Europa
fans, let's
League
not answer that.
trophy? I'm asking him. I'm asking him.
Arsenal,
I'm
obviously,
not.
right?
I'm only. I'm answering Mike. I'm answering Mike.
no.
I'm not answering anybody else. I'm
Let
answering
Mike answer.
Mike.
Let Mike
Yeah,
answer.
let Mike answer. That's what I'm asking.
Yeah, obviously Arsenal because you know, okay, Arteta seems to be taking his time trying to win the league. Fair enough. Personally, I'd give him another 2 years, and then I'd probably sack him if he doesn't win the league. If he's going to sign new players, but I would rather be in Arsenal's position than United's position. Us and Spurs are near the relegation zone. Like, whenever you last seen United near the relegation zone? Like, not since probably when Ferguson first took over United in the late 80s. So it's like,
Is that the same for Man
you know,
City?
I think
No, no, no,
this,
no. Forget Man
this,
City. Forget Man City. Go on,
Okay.
Mike. Finish your
yeah,
point. Sorry.
Yeah.
yeah. So I just think, I just think Arsenal have had the better season. Yes, they've had injuries, no striker, what have you, but they've been consistent and they finished second the last few seasons or 2 seasons, or whatever. And they've got their highest position in the Champions League since when was it, 2006 or something, or 2010 or 9 or whatever. So yeah, for me, I'd rather be Arsenal. I'd rather be
Okay.
Arsenal right now because
Cool.
they know where they know they need a striker. They know they can
Pause your
buy
assistant. Hold
maybe
on.
a CDM and a centre back. But United need to completely look at maybe getting 5-6 new players in, and having to rebuild and maybe give themselves 3-4 years before they can actually start competing for the league. So yeah,
What?
I'd say Arsenal.
So one. All right, hold on to that. Before you say anything, you're saying, please, I want to throw the same question to Ugo as a Tottenham fan. Do you feel that you winning the European Europa League would say that you've had a more successful season than Arsenal?
I think that question is ambiguous. I think it's ambiguous in terms of who's had a better season and who's had a successful season. So for me, Arsenal have had a better season at this moment in time. But if we were to win the Europa League, we would have had a successful season. So I think it's broken down into two. Don't get me wrong. I'd love to be in a higher position in the league, but right now I need some trophies. I need to see some armpits because we haven't lifted the trophy for ages. Yeah, not your armpits, but we need to win a trophy right now. Right now, it's
The
Europa League or
winners'
bust.
armpits, winners.
It's Europa League or bust. So I would say if we win the Europa League, we've had a successful season because at the end of the day, you want to win. Nobody remembers second place. You want to be winning trophies, and trophies is how I measure success. So if we were to win the Europa League, we would have had a successful season despite finishing 17th. But Arsenal would have had a better season because they finished higher up in the table, they're runners up, and they're in the Champions League spots for next season. And they can attract more players and improve their team. Like, who's going to join us after finishing 17th? Finishing 17th puts us in a dim light. Even if we have the money, you're going to get players that are going to be like, don't know, they're going to be second guessing joining us right now. So I don't know. Maybe my view could be wrong. We could win the Europa League, get Champions League spot, and then that could boost our chances in signing some players. Who knows? But it's a gamble.
Okay. Just staying on that term right there, yeah. I want your prediction for the Europa League final. You against United. What are you saying?
The Europa League final.
You know what? Yeah, to be honest, there's something about United, man. When it comes to these cups, here, they find a way. You know, they always
That's
find a way. They got the experience. They got the heritage to back them up as well. And I'm sure Amor is gonna motivate the living shit out of these players as well, because his reputation is on the line. And I think United have enough to do it. I think Tottenham's Tottenham, man. They everywhere they go, they lose in it. You know, so
So yeah, so Ugo, what's your prediction for the game?
it's a 50-50 game. Obviously, I want my team to win it, of course. But then I'm trying to think about it rationally. We've beaten United 3 times this season when it didn't matter. Like, it's coming to a league final now, and it's gonna be a case. Tottenham are gonna be Spursy where we're gonna get beat when it does matter. United do have pedigree in terms of finals, and we don't. So that could go towards their advantage when it comes to that game. But at the
Give me
same
give me a
time,
score.
it's 50-50. It just depends on who wants it at the end of the day. With Tottenham, what pisses me off right now is that we've got players that are getting injured now, leading up to a big game. We've got Madison out, Kulusevski's injured, you got Son coming back. But with United, on the other hand, they're now gaining some traction. They've got players that are now starting to bring in some form. Casemiro's playing well, scoring a goal. Ahmad Diallo is back. Bruno Fernandes is always going to be dangerous. He's always going to be someone that can turn a game and win a game on its own. Højlund scored, so he's starting to get back into a bit of form when he hasn't been scoring for like weeks. So it's typical us. It's going to be Dr. Tottenham all over again.
It
So
sounds like you're not confident. What's happening? You saw them lose against West Ham on the weekend, so and they had all the players there. So would I give you the confidence?
well, it's like what Hussein said, man. It's like United have pedigree in
yeah.
finals. We don't.
All right, so give me a score. What would predict a score? Go on, talk to me.
I would say if I want us to win, I'll say 2-1 Spurs.
2-1 first. Mike, give me a predict a score. Oh, give me your thoughts and give me a score.
Yeah, I think it's a difference with United. It's a different ball game in Europe. Well, obviously, we've gone unbeaten in the Europa League. I think it goes. Do you know what? I think it goes to penalty. I think if it goes extra time, I go penalties. So I think United will win it on penalties.
So what will be the score in the game in the 90 minutes?
I think it'll be 1.
1-1 penalties, and United win it on penalties. All right,
Oh no.
I'm gonna ask for everyone's predictions now on that. I'll start with Cam. What is your predictions on the score of that game?
I agree with Mike. 1-1 extra time. They win it on
I've got a
penalties.
question to ask Hugo
Tyson?
about Tottenham. Do you? Because this is like an. No, but I need to know. I need to know his opinion so that I can give my answer. It's just a quick question. So
Yeah,
Tottenham
distracted
haven't won a
time.
trophy for a long time. A lot of these new players are new, so they
Uh,
don't know what it's like. But they've got a chance to be in the history books of Tottenham. So do you think these players, to your club in it, can turn up saying this is the final, we're doing whatever we can? Do you think these players can turn up? Because if they can, I think they can beat United.
Yeah, I think they have to. I think you can see the camaraderie of the guys in the changing rooms after the Bodo Glimt game. I know it was against Bodo Glimt, but getting to the final, I think has kind of like galvanized them. So if it was me within that dressing room, I'll be more than determined because they've been getting a lot of flack from us fans like all season. We've been battering them all season where they've been booed, they've had negative press, like everyone's on their backs. So I think even Madison said it in an interview last week or the week before, where he says that the players are aware that they've messed up this season, and what they want to do now is he said the word reward, which I didn't really like, but he knows that they need to offer something back to the fans in terms of winning the Europa League. So the players know deep down within themselves that they need to get to this final and do the business. They need to turn
Cool.
up.
I
Otherwise,
think
you need to
I
get a
think
new
three
job or
two
you're going to
three
get
two
public.
Tottenham. Just because of the occasion. Yeah.
Who's your time? Okay.
Yeah.
Leon.
Both teams are leaky. I think there's gonna be goals scored. It
Okay.
just depends which way it's gonna go.
So 3-2 Tyson. Hussein, give me a score prediction for the game.
well, you never know when two shit teams play. You never know what will be the outcome. But to be fair, to be
You got
fair,
on the day.
it is a 50-50 match. It is a 50-50 game. I don't trust Tottenham at all. I'm leaning more towards United because they've been there before. They got the better manager. They got,
They're my team, and I don't trust them either.
I mean, Bruno guy, he makes things happen for United. They got a lot of energy right now. So I reckon that they have enough to beat them. I would say 3-1 United.
Thank you. David, unmute yourself, please.
Yeah, I would say it's all going to depend on whether Man United can expose Tottenham's high line, because they normally play a really high line defensively.
Easy.
Yeah, he's been doing that consistently throughout the whole season. So I think Ahmed Diallo, um, uh, um,
Ganacho.
Garnacho, yeah, they've got pace. Obviously Bruno Fernandes can play as well. So if they can expose that high line, and they've got winners. They've got Casemiro, who's won trophies with Real Madrid. So they know how to win trophies. They've got De Ligt, who's won trophies with Ajax. So they've got winners in the team,
Maguire.
and Tottenham has got, yeah,
Yeah.
Maguire as well. Yeah, so they've got winners. But I think Tottenham
So
haven't really
yeah,
got any
winners
winners
is
for
not
me.
gonna take.
Yeah,
And they got Bruno as well, who can play them direct passes as well.
yeah,
He's a bit of a risk taker when it comes to playing his passes, and he's going to cause a lot of problems for them for sure.
yeah. So I go 3-2 Man United.
3-2 United.
Yeah.
Okay. Looks like United are, what was it? I think they're taking it so far. Yeah, it looks like
We
it.
just need Onana to do a madness. That's all we need.
You don't even need to pray on that. That's what's gonna happen.
Look at Mike's face, man. He's feeling his chances right now, man. Getting all these compliments.
Tio, Uncle T,
I
can I
just
get a prediction from
need
you,
us
my
to
friend?
put our hands up. If we can win a trophy, can you imagine?
3-2 Tottenham.
Oh, mate.
I think that Almarin is gonna get the tactics wrong, basically, because sometimes he makes some
Oh,
funny
you would say.
choices. He makes some funny choices. I mean, if he gets his tactics and his course selection correct, they should win, basically. But for example, playing Ahmad as a right wing back, that is an accident looking to happen. Do you know what I mean? And also in midfield, he might play Casemiro in midfield, with the Garte, or he gets it wrong sometimes. Yeah, so I'm going 3-2 Tottenham. I just think that this could be their year.
Pretty even, it seems, with both teams, but there's sure to be goals in that game. Cool. So I want to move on and talk about the weekend's games. Okay, do a review on the action, because let's not forget everybody else who are there collecting points. The chase for the Champions League is right there, and Arsenal still in the mix for that. Second place isn't guaranteed. You've got people, chasing you on the heels, especially teams like Newcastle and Chelsea who had it out on Sunday. Okay, I know we had a game on Saturday, but I thought that's one of the biggest games of the weekend was Chelsea versus Newcastle. So yeah, Cam, how you feel? We actually watched some of that game together. I got there pretty late, but I was hearing the drama that was going on. Yeah, how did you feel your team played, and where do you feel you should? Are you in the right place, or should you aim high? What's going on?
No, I think we're in the right place. I think, I'm not going to be as delusional as these Arsenal boys and expect to win year on year on year. I know that we're in a process of change, and I know what that means because we've been doing it for some time. And we've been doing it many, many times. Like, you think about the start of the revolution, and I remember these days when, Ranieri came and Abramovich came, and names started coming, and it didn't happen immediately. Then Mourinho came, and then things started to change. And look, it's all a matter of precise movements in the transfer market and appointments with the manager. It's chance combined with skill combined with luck. And, you can put it down to one guy if you're naive enough to think that. But it isn't just one guy. It's a collective. The team is a team of players, coaches, staff, owners, all of these things. So look, to go back to the game, I think we missed a beat. We should have taken at least a point off of them. The problem, the way I see it, is Newcastle they've been fantastic this season. They've got silverware. They're in the hunt for Champions League places. They've had consistent performances week in, week out, bar a few slip-ups here and there. But generally speaking, they play collective football as a team, and their ethos under Eddie Howe is wonderful. We know what we're going to see from them, and we know who we're likely to see from them. And I think we're starting to see that at the Bridge. I think, probably 9 out of 10 players we'd expect to see on our team sheet week in, week out, bar a couple of changes. But I still think we're in a period of change, and I think we're fortunate to be in a position we're in now. And I mean that. Like, we haven't been brilliant. There's been games where we didn't deserve to win. We ground it out, and again, that's part of being a good team. But no, I don't expect us to get. I mean, if I thought about this, and we've got 2 games left. I don't think we win them both. However, I also think Arsenal drop points. And I'm not just saying that to get a reaction. I genuinely think you're going to drop points, boys.
Okay, with that being said,
I think the Champions League places are very wide open. I think... Sorry.
Sticking with that, so you're in a better position than both Tottenham and Manchester United, and you have the Conference League final. So, question to you. If you end up coming 5th or 4th, getting Champions League spot, and winning the Conference League, have you had a better season than Arsenal?
But why Arsenal? Why not Man City? Why are you? Why like? Why is it always
because you're currently second. I'll say why. No, I'll say why. One, because you lot are currently second, and you're claiming you should have been there winning the league. 2, you got to the semi-finals of the Champions League, so yeah, so you are, you lot are talking. None of you lot are in Europe. We're in Europe. We're playing PSG. Where are you guys? That's all we're hearing. So that's why you guys are there now, because it's like, who else now you're gonna compare your seasons to, with the guys who've been talking the most? Arsenal. So
What about Man City though? What about Man City? Is it better season than Man City? You think?
they're in the FA Cup final. So
Okay, so FA Cup final means that
If
Man
they win
City
the
has
FA Cup, maybe it's comparable. It's probably comparable. But again, I go back to what Ugo was saying something earlier that was a really good point, right? We all define success differently because it is subjective. But generally speaking, I share the same opinion as Ugo. We judge it on trophies, we judge it on silverware. However, what we all agree is the Premier League is the hardest league of football to be played on the planet, and it's only getting harder year on year. So I think you've got to look at the both. You can't just say, oh, it's only about silverware, and we can forget about the league position, because we all agree the league position matters greatly. None of us would be satisfied if we're sitting in Spurs position. Equally, as an Arsenal fan, you probably wouldn't be happy sat fifth. So I get it, right? But I mean, and I expect more from Chelsea. I want more, but I just think I'm a bit more conscious of it being a longer period of time. You know, I don't, and I know a lot of fans feel differently, but I don't expect immediate success. Success in an immediate capacity for me means 2 or 3 years of progress. And again, Ugo made a good point about how we judge progress, and I judge progress as successive. And David, you said the same thing, as successively getting better in rank. And so, I mean, I think I put the question to you guys: if to the Arsenal boys, if you don't achieve second place this year, then arguably it is a worse season than you've seen under Arteta for a number of years. And I think that is a regression. And I'm not making a dig. I'm just pointing out a fact. I think it is a regression, and that would worry me.
Yeah, it's a fair point. I think that's a fair point. Decline for me would be kind of sackable for me long term.
Yeah.
Certainly.
I wouldn't get rid. If I were on the
Long
Arsenal
term,
board,
long
with
term.
him now, I'd give him a year. I'd
Yeah.
still give him a year, but I wouldn't.
I
I
didn't
mean,
say
Tyson,
that.
you were saying 2 years earlier. I wouldn't be that generous. I'd judge him after a year.
No, that's fine. That's fine. No, I
I
didn't
misheard
say
you then.
that
I thought you said
just
2.
because I think you're making really, really good points about Chelsea. I just feel this year's context is a little bit different because of the injuries, because of the red cards, because of playing Real Madrid in the Champions League and getting close. So I think that's why we're not doing that well. Otherwise, I think we'd have 5, 6, 7 more points. Yeah.
I think if you look at this is such an unusual season where Liverpool have stormed out in front, but I don't think it's necessarily Liverpool storming out in front. I think all of us, the
100%.
remainders, didn't
It
live up
wasn't
to
easy.
the
I'll be
match.
honest
We
with you.
didn't.
Like,
We didn't
I
cut the
think I said that to Alex, and Liverpool
Don't say that.
for me didn't look like the champions. You know, the league wasn't as competitive. They didn't really look like top champ. I just felt like everybody's been poor. It's just I don't get that feeling, and I love Liverpool. I like Liverpool, but I just don't have that feeling that these guys were so good. I just think the top teams are down.
No, I just see the
That's
point. I see the point.
that's
But I
facts,
disagree.
bro. Because if City were on it, they'll be right up there.
Even
So
his brother. Oh my.
Alex is
Okay.
coming
Okay.
for
Now you've got.
am I lying though? Come
No,
on.
you're not lying at all, bro. You're not lying at all, bro. Seriously, you're not lying at all. But I was gonna say that on top of that, did you guys know that Liverpool had the least number of injuries compared to all the other top 6
This
teams?
guy,
Yeah, I
this
saw
guy.
that. I did see that.
Yeah. So I just wanted to throw that in there. You know, do you think? Do you think?
No, it's good
Are we
context.
supposed to have the same? Are we supposed to have everybody injured? What
No,
do
no.
you
I'm
want?
just saying. Do you think that has an effect? Do you guys think that's an effect? Injured, the fact that
It has
Liverpool
to,
had the
of
least
course.
number of injuries.
Of course
Well,
it
do you know what? I'll tell you this, yeah. How about this, yeah? How about looking at the preparation over the last couple of seasons? Because you've now got your injuries and you don't have you don't have a correct staff to bring in the replacements. So you got rid of what? You got rid of Smith Rowe, you got rid of Nketiah, you got rid of the other guy who went to Fulham. What's his name again? Reece Nelson. Cool. You didn't replace those players. So it's all about having a squad that you have a couple of injuries and you got people to come in and do a job. Unfortunately, you didn't do that. You were
Nah,
bringing
I
in
don't think
what,
you can
Raheem
say
Sterling
that
on
because
loan. Why?
I think there's situations where the injuries it's a lot
Why
more.
not,
Like for
bro?
example,
Why not?
Tottenham. No matter how big the squad is, they can't control what happened to them this season. With us, for example, like we no, it's not irrelevant. I'm just saying you
But
have
it's
to have a
irrelevant
team that
then.
has a
It's irrelevant for
squad
injuries then. You
because
can't
you're going to
control.
get plenty of injuries and you can't have certain excuses. I get that. But Arsenal's case was completely different. Having like Gabriel Jesus and Havertz out for a very long time, that barely happens. And then you have to play Marino as a striker for the last 3 months. Then being with Odegaard for like 4 or 5 months. Gabriel missing the last 2 months. We've had like important players. Saka missing 3 4 months. That's not
Exactly.
common. That's what I'm trying to say. It's not common. So you can't stop. You know what I'm saying? You can't stop that.
Yeah, so I think I think that's the main thing, Alex. Like key players injured, and Liverpool, Salah was he injured for a long period? Was McAllister injured for a long
Not this
period?
season. Strong boys,
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah, exactly. Not this season. Yeah, so this season, key players. So not just injuries, but key players, like Tyson said. Was Van Dijk injured? Was Trent Arnold injured?
Yeah, he
You
was.
know, okay, fair enough. But you got a good cover in the right back. What's his name again?
Bradley.
The young. Yeah, so he's a good cover at the moment. But Salah wasn't injured, obviously. So big players for Arsenal that were injured, massive players. So I'm not saying that it's the reason why you guys won it, but it did play, a
Well,
kind of
it's
a
no
role.
injuries.
Yeah.
I'm not denying that, but it's just a case of, for me, it's just like we've had players injured. Yeah, fair enough. Not to the kind of extent where ending the season like Jesus. But to be fair, we could speak about this until the cows come home, and I think we'll probably pick up on this again when we do like a good season review. Okay, so I want to obviously look at the other games throughout the weekend. Okay, so we had City, and it's a chance for Uncle T to talk. 0-0 with Southampton. Talk to me, bro, because I don't know. I don't know. Talk to me. How are you feeling after going 0-0? You got big KDB
You know
there.
what? You know what
Haaland
it
was
is?
even playing.
I'm a little bit concerned because our last two games are with some potentially tricky teams, Bournemouth and Fulham. Fulham away, you know. So you know if we don't get top five, which it could happen, because that team is not is not like before, where these are these kind of results, are that they're going to win. Do you know what I mean? So I mean, we couldn't score against Southampton. Hopefully, Haaland that game would have brought him back up to scratch, up to speed. But yeah, yeah. But I'm not. Problem is that our main offensive output is KDB, and KDB is a shadow of the player that he used to be. Do you know what I'm saying? Foden and others aren't really chipping in anymore. So it's KDB. It's all on KDB's shoulders, and he's a shadow of the player that he used to be. And then Haaland is just coming back from injury. We need the end of the season to come quickly, just so we can just regroup and just and
Well,
do what we need to do.
are you worried that we're hearing reports that Florian Wirtz is off to Bayern Munich? He's put the green light on that move, and now you haven't given KDB a new contract, so he's out. So is there now going to be
Okay,
some
who?
type
Yeah, who?
of like who do you get now in
I
terms of
mean,
filling that
I mean
spot?
the boy from was it Forest? What's his name?
Morgan
Morgan
Gibbs
Morgan
White.
Gibbs White. Yeah, I mean, it's looking more like it's going to be him, or maybe if Paqueta beats his bribery, not his bribery, sorry, his gambling charges.
He's fallen off. He's fallen off more worse than Cole Palmer. So
Yeah, but
I don't know
I'm,
whether you
I,
rate
I, I
that
don't
guy.
I don't know what we can turn on because I'm not convinced about Morgan Gibbs White. I'm not convinced by him.
So
You know,
isn't you're not convinced that he could be a playmaker for Man City? You don't think
I
he
mean,
can't reach that level?
I, I mean, he's a good player to carry that burden of being the main man at a big club like City. Look. Since of Calvin Phillips, I'm always afraid of English players. Because there are a lot of good English players, but when you put them in a position where they have to deliver, do you know what I'm saying? You know, can he cope with that kind of pressure? Do you know what I mean? I mean, he's a good player, but to be the main man, with all those international stars, with Rodriguez and your Diaz's and your Bernardo's, being the main man in
Grealish.
that. Yeah, but you know what I mean. I mean, Morgan. I mean, he comes across quite confident, and assured. But I'm not too sure. I'm not sure. I mean, Verts would be the ideal player that should replace KDB. But I mean, worst comes to worst, you never know. Maybe Morgan gives White. Maybe he might just, he might just step up.
Well, we saw what Pep did with £100 million worth of Jack Grealish, so let's hope the
Exactly.
same doesn't happen to Morgan Gibbs White. I kind of like him. So we had Fulham 1, Aston Villa 3. Yo, I wasn't really surprised about that. Fulham sometimes they can just you don't know what you get half the time. But their European hopes are starting to crumble. Everton now putting up some points. Hopefully they could, not hopefully, but they hope they could probably end up being mid-table by the end of the season going into their new stadium. Ipswich nil, Fulham, sorry, Brentford 1. That's a done deal. Ipswich already relegated. Brentford, again, they're trying to bridge the gap there and get a European place. But again, this will go down to people like City winning the FA Cup, and then that gives more hope for someone like Brentford. But City have Crystal Palace in the final this weekend, so it will be a game to see. What's predictions on that for you two while you're here?
I think City win that game.
City win it,
I
yeah.
think City win it. Honestly, I think Palace had their game of the season against Villa. Was it Villa? Yes, Villa. Yeah, they're the game of the season. It's not going to happen again. Lightning doesn't strike twice. Chef
Well,
saying,
yeah, a 0-0 draw. Southampton's probably giving Crystal Palace hope. Plus, Crystal Palace defeated Tottenham on the weekend, winning 2-0
yeah,
away
but it's
as
not. It's
well.
not going to happen.
So,
They played their heart out. Against Villa. That's not going to happen again. Yeah.
I think Palace will win that anyway.
Uh,
Yeah, I'm going for Palace on that one.
you're going to Palace now, yeah?
Yeah, I'm going for Palace. I think Palace will win that game. Definitely. Mateta
you're,
and
you're
Eze, I
dreaming.
think they'll
I,
outmuscle.
f-
With Haaland,
Yeah.
boys,
Haaland,
I
Arnold only
reckon.
plays well with service. Apart from that, that's it.
What do you lot?
KDB's on form.
What do you lot reckon? Should we do a link up for the FA Cup final and go watch it all together? That could be something. That could be that could get some good content out of that, But what about the end? Wolves nil, Brighton 2. I wasn't expecting that. I know Brighton can be pretty unpredictable, but Wolves at home, and Wolves have been, one of the form teams, over the last month or so, winning like something like what, 5, 6 games in a row.
He
Um,
knows he's leaving us.
yeah, this is could they see now that he's been linked with United? Are we gonna see Wolves, kind of crumbling and Cunha not performing? He has some good chances in that game. We had a big clash there, Bournemouth versus Villa. Villa nudging it. Tight game. I thought Villa deserved it. I felt they were, they did doing better with the chances. Um, I don't know. I think they played some fantastic football at times. But maybe this could be a bit much to them in getting a European spot. But they are close, which is good. Right, that was on Saturday. So Sunday fixtures, obviously we spoken about Man United and West Ham wasn't the most entertaining game, but the result don't know, doesn't send shockwaves. We've been used to watching United lose quite a lot this season, so no difference there. Same as Tottenham, again 20th defeat. A lot of pundits predicted that, and it's sad when your own fans are saying, "Yeah, we're going to lose 20 times," and that's really unheard of, especially a team of Tottenham's prestige and their quality. Forest 2-2 with Leicester. Interesting. Obviously, Nottingham Forest being top four for majority of the season. Now they're languishing in seventh. Yes, they're only just a few points off a Champions League spot, but they have what I think it's like one win in the last five, and you had the owner not happy with the team and Espirito Santos and actually demonstrating his anger while having exchanging some words on the pitch. Did you look guys see that? Marinakis, is it Marinakis? Is that his name? Coming onto the
Marinakis,
pitch and
yeah.
yeah, he wasn't looking happy.
Who are the next 2 games against? They got some easy games, haven't they?
They got Chelsea last game of the season. I don't know what the game was before that. That's something we'll have to look at. But again,
That's a big game.
obviously
Ain't
that's a
no
big
easy
game.
game, boys. Ain't no easy game. Let's not have that.
I reckon that will define the season of probably both teams. Just be real about that, okay? But yeah, not the Forest. I don't know. Is Mariakas, should he just be? Oh, okay, first and foremost, he shouldn't have come on the pitch showing his frustration. At the same time, is this Now, Forest kind of, because we're gonna say potentially overachievers of the season if they do grab a Champions League spot. Even if they don't, I thought they still grab a European spot, whether it's Europa or Champions League. But should Manakis be angry like this, or should he be like, listen, we didn't lose, we're still in this, we can still get a Champions League spot. Boys have done well to be in the top, not just be in the top of the table, but to be, rubbing the shoulders against the so-called elites.
I
What
don't
But
do you
but
guys
think.
but,
reckon?
but you know the thing about this guy, yeah, he's a very ambitious owner. From day one, he's been saying that he wants to get Forest back in the Champions League, and he even put his money where his mouth is by buying by getting Edu as well. So he has he has he's quite ambitious, So maybe the reason why he was annoyed is because he wants to get Champions League and he expects that, yeah. So maybe
Timber,
Europe is not good enough for him.
as a professional sports owner and manager, if it was a manager, rarely in our lives have we ever seen a manager. I can only think of Phil Brown once, that famous game when he did it with Hull and he refused to take them inside. He sat them all down and he told them all off. But for an owner to do it, that's unheard of. That's not professional. He made a point of singling out Nuno Espirito Santo wrongly. Wrongly. That guy's done wonderful work
I think
there.
in my
I mean, I
opinion,
think
I
that was a
think
really, really
it's
bad move
it's
for me.
it's to do it out publicly is yeah, it's not a great move, but we don't really know what they said, right? Because they can all lie to the media and say something. Yeah, but I
That's
think
my point,
his
Tyson.
attitude
Like, he could have
is
kept
pretty
it behind
common
closed doors.
because if you look at
Should have been.
Abramovich, his relationship with the Chelsea players, they were like buddies, right? He would call the Chelsea players, some of them he'd help them find houses and stuff like that. So he's probably a no-no, like Toyo said, who's really, really involved. So that's probably not even the only time. Yeah, in the background, then the owners are talking
And
to the
invested.
managers, like,
I
yeah, we
get
can
that.
do this. Maybe you need to do that, and that's his club. So yeah, in the background you can do that. I think out in the open, um, the fans could think, what's going on? Is he putting pressure on the manager or what's going on? So all of these things already happen in the background. It's just that he might have got really overexcited, and he might have just, made a comment which he's normally meant to stay out as an owner, right? But you never know. Their relationship could just be like that. Their relationship could be like that, and he's just like, you know what, I'm so up for it. I really wanted us to win. So it's just human emotion, That's the way I see it. I don't think it goes beyond that. If you look at the video, so yeah.
I feel like, and adding to that, I feel like it could be an also a tradition culture thing because if you look at the Greek league and the Turkish league, a lot of the owners are very, prominent in the team. Like they're out in the press, they're doing interviews with the media, and they're not afraid to go on the pitch and to talk to a manager in the dugout. We've seen fights, we've seen even owners beat up referees and stuff like that. So maybe it's a thing with maybe it's a thing with
Just like in
with that
Italy, yeah.
side. That's their mentality. I own everything. Like you get, yeah. It's like probably when you go to, okay, almost a certain ratio, but it's almost like when you go to like a Greek or Turkish restaurant, you see how the owner is there. He's always there every night. He's there. He's talking to guests. He's entertaining. He owns it, but he doesn't need to be there. You've got a manager, but they still want a presence. Like I own this, and I want everyone to know I own this. You're here because of me, and I feel sometimes their ego may be a bit too big, and it comes out. But anyway, they didn't lose. They got a draw, and it is what it is. Premier League isn't always going to go the way you want it to go. Um, yep, and then obviously, yeah, so we've gone through Tottenham, we've gone through the Arsenal 2-2, and yeah, so that's the games for the week. Okay, want to wrap this up, but before we go, just a few things that obviously I want to bring to light on in terms of how the weekend is looking. You know, we've got last two games of the season. Who's Arsenal got? I haven't even looked at
Newcastle and Southampton.
the fixtures. What's your Newcastle's? So Newcastle next game going into a big game. How you guys feeling about that?
I just hope we don't. I know we're not going to mess up, but I'm not
Confident.
very confident in our defense. Newcastle's going to be up for it. They want to get into the Champions League. So yeah, they're a good side. We messed up with the Crystal Palace draw. We should have been a lot more comfortable. So now we can have to fight again. Yeah, I think a draw. I think a draw, but it depends if we take our chances. No, I'll say maybe a 1-1. You know, we never concede more than 2 goals or something. So I'll say 1-1 or 2-1 to us. Depends on how we turn up.
1-1. Okay. All right.
I'll go 2-1, 2-1 to Arsenal.
You listen to
2-1 to
Arsenal.
Arsenal. Yeah.
Okay. Well, funny enough, we've got two Friday night kickoffs. We've got Villa versus Tottenham. How do you feel about that? What's the kind of prediction with that, Hugo?
Yeah, defeat probably.
It's a team.
It's a defeat. I don't know what the score would be, but it'll be a defeat.
Okay.
It's going to be a
And
record 21 defeats.
Is that
and
relegation
then
material though, Hugo? Is that normally 21 games? Is it normally get people relegated? So 21
21
times.
games does, you know.
Yeah.
It's not.
21
It's
normally.
somewhere. If it wasn't for the bottom three, we'll probably be championship. Yeah, I think 20 games, 21 games. Yeah, no, we got what 38. I think.
That is relegation. Yeah, that is relegation. Yeah, that is
Could
relegation.
you imagine Tottenham going the whole, making it the last 2 games or not getting to 40 points? That would be crazy.
This is Tottenham, so it's possible.
And then we've got another Friday night clash. We've got Chelsea versus United. So Cam versus Mike. What's happening? Are you gonna be? Well, first of all, Mike, I want to, because you're away. You've got Europa not too long afterwards. Is this a time that United should be resting players, playing with the formation? What's going on?
I think he's gonna. I think he's gonna rest players. I think he's gonna sacrifice it. I think we'll lose to Chelsea, even though they've not got Jack. And I think we'll rest players for when. I think
Okay.
he'll play like he'll probably play Fernandes and a few of the main guys, but I think he'll rest. Well, you could even rest Fernandes, but I think he'll rest a few players and because he'll sacrifice. We're not going to get relegated. We're going to finish probably, hopefully, just above Spurs. Yeah.
You're
I think.
also trying to get 40 points as well. You're 39 points.
Yeah, 38, 39 points. I think we'll get 40 points because we've. No, actually saying that we might not because we've got Villa last game of the season. So
Wow.
yeah, that's going to be interesting. That's another
Cam,
loss.
what are you saying, Cam?
Win.
Wednesday.
Yeah.
What's that? 21st? Is that?
Yeah,
That's
21st.
Yeah.
21st. Yeah. It's the problem is that the throwing in all these local international games here and there kind of mess up the stuff and progression in other teams. It's ridiculous. Normally the leagues are finished, then it's the European finals. But we know Europa League has always been like a midweek for the last few seasons. It's been midweek. It's always been like a Wednesday or like or Thursday. I think they put it on a Wednesday, then jumps on Saturday. Normally it should be, and it's normally like a week before the Champions League final or a week and a half before Champions League final. But it's all kind of like Champions League is always going to be the last game, regardless of anywhere. So it's going to be 26. But Cam, no Action Jackson for this game or for the rest of
Yeah,
the season. To be fair,
yeah, well, exactly. I still expect us to win. I think Mike's right. I expect them to rest most of their team. Yeah, I think with the fact that we don't necessarily need to play our Premier League, if you like, 11, because we've been playing almost like our Europa League team in those games, and I expect that team to play in our final. I don't think we'll play a Premier League team for that. Maybe there'll be some inclusions like Palmer or obviously Jackson's eligible for that one. But yeah, I think we'll get the win against United. I'm not so sure against Forest. I've got to be honest. I think we'll
okay,
get 4 points out of 6.
okay, cool. Well, we're 1 hour 41 in, so I feel it's time for us to wrap up. Thank you guys for the contribution. It's been a great weekend of football. Obviously, some of us winners, some of us losers, some of us got draws, but that's how it is. So we'll see you guys. Well, I'll see some of you guys maybe over the weekend. We'll probably catch up, watch the football. But for the rest of y'all, we'll see you on the next episode. Guys, take care. Give it a like, subscribe, support us. We need the followers, we need the likes. Algorithm. Take care.
Peace.
Layers.